and even when I try to educate them on the law, they don't want to listen. Hey guys, it's Hope. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to go over the 5 frustrating things about being blind. Now, last week I did a video on the 5 things that I liked about being blind. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I'm going to link it in the description box below. Alright, so now that you have watched the other video, let's get into this video. Number 1. I think this is like the biggest thing that I really find frustrating about being blind. I can't drive. It's so frustrating to not be able to just get in the car and go where I need to go. It's so frustrating. Like, I have to rely on Uber, which isn't always reliable. If you haven't seen my Uber story, I'll link that in the description box below. Go check it out. It's an interesting story about service dog access issues, so check it out. Or I have to rely on the bus system, which means that I have to follow like a very set schedule. So if I am not ready to go by, let's say, 2:30, then I might have to wait until 3 or 3:30. So it's very much like I can't just be like, oh, let me just go to the store right now and jump in my car and go. It's like, oh, let me go to the store, but let me look on Google Maps to see when the buses leave so that I can figure out when I can go to the store. But then when I'm at the store, I have to time my shopping trip perfectly so that I'm ready to go when the bus is ready to head back. So it's a lot more like finagling and adjusting, or it's a lot more of like, hey friend, will you take me to wherever I need to go? So yeah, can't drive. That is like by far my biggest frustration with being blind. Okay, on to the others. Number 2, I can't always see my friends, which means that I don't always recognize them, and it frustrates me, and I don't know how my friends feel. I feel bad that I don't recognize them. And I'll give you a perfect example. My friend, we'll call her Jasmine. She and I were friends since like basically the first day of college. Freshman year, we became friends, and we were friends all 4 years. And then we moved on to the same hall, so we were like living in the same area and everything. And 4th year, I would see her constantly around the hall or on campus. And every single time I'd be like, who are you? And she'd be like, Hope, it's Jasmine. And I just felt so bad because I was like, I knew that our friendship had been going strong for like 4 years. And I realized why this happened. It's because like we would hang out a lot, either one-on-one, or we would hang out in situations where it was planned, like group dinner or, group study session or whatever. Like we would do stuff that was very planned. And so spontaneous encounters around campus weren't that common. And so when we were in the same hall together with also a bunch of different people that I didn't know, she almost got put back into this category where I was like having to relearn her voice again. And it made me feel so bad and so sometimes like frustrated that I couldn't see her and that I couldn't like call her by name because we'd been friends for so long. Thankfully, like that period didn't last long, but I felt really bad about it. And it's one of the things that I still think about in terms of like why blindness is so frustrating, because it means that the people that you should know and the people that like are so valuable and important to you are people that sometimes in a different setting, it's hard to know who they are. Another example is like sometimes if I'm in a giant party or something, I don't always like know immediately that I'm with my parents. Like I figure it out really quickly because it's my parents, but it takes me a second to kind of register, oh, these are my parents. Okay, cool. Just because like there's, again, so many other unfamiliar people that like at that point, because I'm interacting with so many people that I don't know, and I'm trying to learn so many different voices in a number of hours if it's a party, everyone just gets lumped into, I don't know you. And so, yeah, that's one of the frustrating things that I find about being blind. Number 3, I find it frustrating that like I miss out on a lot of visual signals, like facial expressions especially, or just eye contact. I have learned through all of my sighted friends and family that eye contact is like huge. It's a big thing, and you use it for a lot of things, whether you use it to make eye contact so someone knows that you're listening, or you use it to like communicate something. Like I've heard that people will make eye contact and then like make a face at each other or make a significant expression so that the other person knows to like step in or whatever. I mean, there are just a lot of different things that I don't necessarily catch. And I've noticed that there are like visual jokes that get passed around throughout a conversation. And so like we'll be having a perfectly fine conversation and then all of a sudden like 2 or 3 people will laugh. I'm like, nothing that was said was funny. And they're like, oh, but it was the visual joke. You didn't see it. I was like, oh, okay. So sometimes I appreciate someone verbalizing, oh, like so-and-so did this and it was really funny because it related to this part of the conversation. If it's that funny, I don't want to miss out. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of like little visual things that happen that I just don't really need to know about. But I wish I was able to see them more so that I could like participate in more of that nonverbal visual communication that happens underneath the conversations. Number 4, I would say feeling helpless is something that's not fun. There are times when I feel a little more vulnerable, and it's definitely harder because if I'm in an unfamiliar location or if I'm somewhere where like it's harder for me to move around for whatever reason, it can be a little disconcerting to not have that level of independence that I'm used to having. Or just like sometimes when I'm on the bus and I know that I need to get off at a certain stop, if for some reason the bus isn't announcing what stops we're at, or if the driver forgets or whatever, like I have to rely on so many different people to make sure that I get to where I need to get to. And so rather than like independently knowing and like pulling the stop cord when I need to get off, I am relying on people to remember when I need to get off and then making sure that they stop for me and letting me know that that's the stop that I need to get off at. And so I think those are situations where I can feel a little like out of control, a little helpless. And I don't really enjoy that feeling all too much, but it's not a huge frustration because most of the time they do stop. Or if they don't for some reason, which hasn't happened yet, then I can just either backtrack or ride it and keep going. Like it's not really that big of a deal, but it still is inconvenient and sometimes frustrating to feel that kind of powerless, out of control feeling. And then number 5, another one of my pet peeves, I would say, is discrimination, specifically in the service dog world. I think there are a lot of people that I've encountered who don't exactly know the law, and even when I try to educate them on the law, they don't want to listen. Specifically Uber drivers. And again, go check out my Uber video. Also, I've had just random service dog issues pop up randomly, like service dog access issues. So if you want to check out that stuff, I believe I told 5 stories in one video, so I'll link that in the description box below as well. Oh man, so this was basically like a whole video of me referring to other videos. So go watch those videos, they're very fun. Also, if you liked this video, subscribe, share, like, comment below on your disability, whether it be blindness or another disability. Again, we love to have conversations, hear about your story and your journey, things that you find frustrating about being blind or disabled or whatever. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are able to invite all of your family into your house, that it is a comfortable and fun time, and that you all have an amazing week. And I will see you on my next video. Until then, have an awesome day. Bye, guys.